Hello and welcome to Bradford Cathedral's Children's Space Crafts. Today we're going to make a 3D sailing boat picture that tells the amazing story of when Jesus walked on water and Peter also had a go. You can read about it in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 14, verses 22 to 33. To do this, you will need a piece of A4 card, some blue paper, different shades if you can, maybe some green, a dark brown piece of paper, scissors, glue, a pencil, felt tips and a straw. Start by making your boat. Take your brown card if you have some, but if you haven't, you could always colour some white card. Cut a strip about a quarter width of your paper, remembering to be careful with those sharp scissors. Now fold it in half and crease it. Then fold both ends inwards about 4 centimetres. Now glue the ends together but only overlap them a little. You should now have a boat shape. Glue your boat to your white piece of card at one end in the corner. To make your sail, cut a triangle shape with curved edges quite big from your white paper. Then cut 2 slits or holes in your sails, one at the top and one in the middle at the bottom of your triangle. Now thread your straw through the sail. I'm using a paper straw as plastic ones are not so good for the environment. Now it's time to stick your sail to your boat. This can be a little tricky, so you may have to use something to prop your straw up whilst the glue dries. Now it's time to make your sea. When Jesus walked on water, the sea was very stormy. That meant there were lots of waves and some were very big. To make a choppy, wavy sea, cut some strips of paper, no more than a couple of centimetres wide, of different shades of blue paper. You may have to stick some of the strips end to end to make them longer. Start by making your waves by sticking the strips of paper down. You can decide how big the waves are, but be careful not to make them too big, as you might not be able to see the boat. When you have finished making your choppy sea, it's time to make the disciples. In the story, all 12 of the disciples were in the boat. The storm frightened them, but when they saw Jesus, they were even more afraid because he was walking on water, and people can't walk on water no matter how hard we try. But Jesus told them not to be afraid. He said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." So Peter, one of the disciples, wanted proof that it was Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "If it is you, ask me to come to you." So Jesus called to Peter, and Peter, to everybody's surprise, got out of the boat and started to walk on water as well. Everyone was amazed. Everything was going really well as Peter looked at Jesus, taking one step after another. But then he stopped looking at Jesus and looked down and saw the big waves and became afraid. And that's when he started to sink. He cried out to Jesus, who was still walking on the water, to help him. So Jesus reached out his hand and helped Peter. To complete our picture, we need to put 11 disciples in the boat. So cut a piece of white card or paper to go into your boat, big enough to draw the surprised faces of 11 disciples. Then cut out 2 other pieces of paper or card and colour in a figure for Jesus and one for Peter. The figure for Jesus needs to be bigger than Peter. When you have finished colouring in Jesus and the disciples, you can put them into your picture. The 11 surprised disciples go into the boat, and then a smaller figure of Peter in the water quite near the boat. To help your figures stand up, you can fold and crease the base of your figures, and then they should stand up. Remember, Peter was sinking, so position him in a wave so that he looks like he's sinking. But Jesus was walking on the water, so position him a lot further away from the boat, but look like he is actually on top of the waves. I'm going to do one more thing to complete my picture. On the sail, I'm going to write the words to help me when I am feeling worried, to remind me what to do. Keep your eyes on Jesus and do not be afraid. Peter learned that when you take your eyes off Jesus and allow your fears to get the better of you, that's when you begin to sink and start to panic. We all have things that we worry about, small things and big things. But Jesus tells us that He is always with us and we can always trust Him. I hope you enjoy making your 3D picture of Jesus walking on the water. We'd love to see photos of what you have done, and you can send them to info@bradfordcathedral.org. Thank you for joining us, and God bless.